All right, good morning. It is Saturday, the 3rd of May, year of our Lord 2025. This week has been a hoot. So, first, I've been conspicuously absent for a little while, involved in another project that's taking a lot of my time, but it's always good to get back here. So, anyway, it's been crazy since anyone in Western Pennsylvania. Extended area knows that Tuesday we got hit with some serious weather. We've had storms and whatnot before, but um, this was another level. So, still a lot of the areas without power. We fortunately have power here at the box, but friends and neighbors east of the city, a lot of them still out of power. And here's the funny part. I certainly don't mean this as a criticism. However, sometimes I come across the wrong way. Here's the deal. You lost power. You lost electricity. That's too bad. Maybe it costs you a few bucks in food you've got to throw away, and maybe it costs you some logistical challenges. Logistical? Challenges to logistics, where you have to, find a place to charge your devices and so forth, so forth. But, the real focus is on our friends and neighbors whose homes were, damaged, if not destroyed, whose cars were crushed under, huge trees, power lines are down. Those of you who followed me even for a minute know that sometimes I try as I might to, to be a better version of me. There are certain triggers there that are still, they're out there and they're strong. There's a friend of ours, Marty Griffin, local news personality. He put something out on social media, and it was, sharing something that happened. And this individual, was hit by a live wire and tragically passed away. And the first several comments, people are popping off. The expression, you talk out your ass because your mouth knows better? There was a lot of that, okay? What is wrong with people? Things happen like this, you come together. You're not going to come together, better you get out of my sight. I'll just put that out as free information. But so that's where we're at right now. Still a lot of folks without power. Thankfully, though, there's a lot of work going on. And, get to it. I mean, that's it. If you can't be part of the solution, all right, keep positive thoughts, say some prayers. If you can't do anything to help directly, stay quiet. Or, what? No, that's not fair. If you can't do anything to help directly, be encouraging. If you can't be encouraging, be silent. I think that's probably sound logic. Anyway, also want to give, that's the whole purpose that I'm here early this morning before the Saturday morning class starts. Want to take a moment to give a shout out to a group of young men at Thiel College in Greenville, PA. All right, those are the boys of the Kappa Sigma Fraternity. I am biased. I'm 100% biased. Stand by as I enjoy a sip of Black Rifle coffee. It's a scandalously mild blend I'm drinking today. And if you haven't tried Black Rifle coffee, you're only cheating yourself. But first crossed paths with Kappa Sigma Fraternity last year when our son started his freshman year at Thiel College. And I was not in a college fraternity. I waited a little bit and then joined the greatest fraternity in the world, the United States Navy. But I digress. I don't know if do you rush a fraternity? It's rush week. Do you pledge? You are a pledge, but do you pledge or do you rush? Regardless, my son Michael became a K-Sig last year, and I'll tell you, one of the things that impressed me the most with these young men as he's starting to, and I don't know, anybody has teenagers. I noticed this a lot more with my son than with well, no, it's not true. My middle daughter, the one-word answers. How was your day? Good. Good could mean I didn't get attacked by the Taliban. Good could mean I won the Powerball, but sometimes you just, how was your day? Good. So, my son goes to Thiel last fall, and he, gets, he becomes a K-Sig. And how's your day? What are you doing? What's new? Well, some of the first things that I recognized I thought were so cool was as their philanthropy efforts benefit the Veterans Affairs. So I thought that was awesome. Shortly after he arrives, he's like, "Hey, Dad, we're going to do a seesaw-a-thon," right? Seesaw-a-thon. It was over a holiday weekend, and it might have even coincided with alumni weekend. But it's a picture, if you will, a seesaw built from an I-beam that has seats with backs fastened to it on each end so that you can sit with a seat back for a prolonged period of time. Now, these guys sign up and they go for 72 hours nonstop. Rain, whatever weather, two people are always on that seesaw for the duration of the 3-day weekend. And the benefits, all funds raised benefit veterans causes, right? Coincidentally, last year, I don't remember the time frame, but there was a fire at a local VFW. So not only do these boys organize a fundraiser, but, and I believe just as importantly, if not maybe a little bit more, they show up, right? They show up at the VFW, and they start with helping with the clean out and the refit. So it's a good bunch of guys, all right? In a day and age when most people, regardless of age, all you got to do is turn on the TV, or even that, open your eyes and look out when you're outside in public. People are stupid nowadays, aren't they? They really are. Well, somebody better do this for me. Somebody better do that for me. Nobody owes you anything. There's a news flash. Nobody owes you anything, all right? You know what you're owed by this country? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The rest, brother, that's up to you, all right? If you don't like it, hey, I'm not here that often. Change the channel, all right? But looking at these young men, every so often, and this is one of those times, every so often you're like, oh my God, we're doomed. We are doomed. And here's the irony, because guys my age, anytime there's a threat, wind back the clock 20 years, 9/11, I'll tell you this, the men that I served with at the agency, every one of them it came from a military background. We had already served. A lot of us were off of active duty. A lot of us were, nobody was in the mothballs, that's for sure. But most all of us were off of active duty and pursuing, raising our families, living our lives, right? Then 9/11 occurs, and what happens? I can't speak for my teammates, but I didn't wait to be asked, all right? I started making inquiries, phone calls, and then, fortunately I was contacted by an old friend, and, that was my path. But, you reach a point, and it gets a little bit frustrating, and you look sometimes at the next wave, so to speak, and you're like, oh my God, we're doomed. Then, every time, when it's almost like when you start to feel like there's, we are doomed, then all of a sudden you cross paths with a group of young people, and you think, no, you know what, we're going to be okay. We are going to be okay. And I put the boys in Kappa Sigma in that category. We're going to be all right, because they good group of guys, and not just because my son is one of them, but everything I've seen, and get after it, boys. All right, I appreciate you. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot about this. September 11th, each and every September 11th, these guys will head over to the football stadium on campus, and, either slick or loaded with weight vests, backpacks, whatnot. They will do a stair climb. In memory of the 9/11 attacks on the Twin Towers. And, for me, there's nothing more than, you show respect for your God and your country. And that's what it's all about. God, country, family, and friends. Okay? So, boys, keep the faith. Thank you. Thanks very much. I appreciate you. All right. Kappa Sigma Thiel College, Greenville, PA. Right. All right. So what else? What else? Bad weather and the cleanup ensues. And, again, it does suck. Tuesday to Saturday, no power. And one of the first words they put out to us was, hey, it could take 5 to 7 days. I'm no expert. All right, certainly no expert. I have no connection with Duquesne Light whatsoever, except that I pay my bill and they provide me electricity. But I don't know. It just seems to me the smart play, and I believe this is what happened whenever you say, well, how long will it be or how much will it cost? It's called an estimate, right? Estimate. So to throw out, well, 5 to 7 days, it's the smart play because you have so much work in front of you. The worst thing you could do is say, a couple of days, right? Then the next thing you know, the villagers are assembled at your gate, right? Torches and pitchforks. But this is uncomfortable. It absolutely is. Can't overstate it. But I have yet to drive by a power truck out on the street and see what we used to call in the old days lollygagging, right? Anybody know? Remember that? You lollygaggers? You don't see that, right? What you see is crews at work, right? Work crews at work trying to solve this problem. So, let's hope for the best. Prepare for the worst, right? Hopefully this serves as a lesson to everyone, no matter how prepared you think you are. And I'm not criticizing anything right now, I swear to God, but I want you to think about this for a minute. No matter how prepared you think you are, did you think it through to the, primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency plans? PACE, right? My primary plan, the power goes out. Do I have flashlights? Do I have candles? If I have flashlights, are they battery operated? If they are battery operated, are the batteries fresh? Do I have spare batteries, right? Alternate, I have spare batteries, right? I have, this caught me, and it is embarrassing to say, external power sources to charge your devices. When you charge your devices, then what happens? Well, I have no internet because the power's down. You're absolutely right. However, most carriers now, what I've been able to do from home is I create a hotspot using my iPhone, and I plug my iPhone into my laptop, and then I can access the internet via the hotspot on my phone. This is not something that you should try for the first time when the power goes out for days. Yeah, I will say this is the first world, isn't it almost ironic? First world problems, all right? First world problems. We are literally at our wits' end, and I say we like collectively. I'm not, criticizing, but we are at our wits' end because we haven't had power since Tuesday. How about you live your life like this on the daily, right? You don't have fresh water. You've got to walk to a water source, maybe get eaten by something, only so you can bring suspect water back. And if you don't boil it, clean it, sanitize it, you're probably going to die, right? We have a friend of ours, and think about this one. We don't have power, but we still have water, right? And because we have a gas water heater, we still have hot water. We have a gas stove. Now, it's an electric igniter, but if you turn the gas up carefully, low, light it with a flame source, you can use the stovetop to cook, right? I don't recommend doing this. I wouldn't do it after the power comes back on. But, we have friends of ours who have groundwater, well water, all right? Well, guess what? They have well water, and the pump is electric. So not only are they without light, but their house is also without water. I'm not making light of this, but pump the complaint brakes just a little bit, all right? Hey, and another thing too, totally sympathetic for people who work from home. No internet, creating a Wi-Fi from your phone, it's not ideal. It's not. There's some limitations, This sucks. Anyone who thinks it doesn't is probably a colonial pioneer, caught in some type of time vortex, like a Daniel Boone, perhaps, Davy Crockett. Anyway, I'm not making fun, but just hang in there, right? Do what you can to help. If you can't help, encourage. If you can't encourage, Shut your cake hole. All right? All right. It's good to be back, even if it's sporadic, right? As soon as power comes back on, check it out. It's a movie with Kirk Douglas, a series on Stars, I think it was, like 3, 4 seasons. Sporadicus. See what I did there? It's a gladiator movie. All right, listen, have a great day. Don't know what the weather's supposed to be like today. Don't care, because guess what? Work still has to get done. All right? All right, everyone, remember, the whole point for this was a shout out to Kappa Sigma at Thiel College, Greenville, PA, the young men of K-Sig. All right, you guys have a great weekend. And remember, Monday, Cinco de Mayo. Have fun.